Americans don't talk about race in meaningful ways very much at all. I think Americans have very distorted ideas about race and racism and take very little responsibility for the 400-year history of racism in the United States.
I think you want to give yourselves a big hand for such a gorgeous crowd on a rainy day.
I'm a psychologist by profession. I have been working for the past 30 years in international peace building, and now, since the election in 2016, I've brought this work home to work in the context of the polarization in the U.S. across almost every kind of line of division we can think of.
I think I was around 5, and I told some other young people that I was hanging out with that I was Indian or Native or whatever terminology I was using at that age, and the only conceptualization that they could figure out was to think that what that meant was that I was an Indian in a past life. It was easier for them to conceptualize someone having had a past life where they lived in a teepee and ran around barefoot than someone having indigenous heritage today, because the pervasive message in New England is just that all of the Indians were killed.
My children are being raised here in Western Massachusetts, which is very different than how I was raised in the inner city of Brooklyn. And so for me in the inner city of Brooklyn, I was surrounded by Black excellence. I was surrounded by folks that knew their worth and their value. Here, I am surrounded by people who know their worth and their value and see my children as different from them.
I joined this group after looking and listening to the people who were there who said that they were interested in having meaningful conversation and not sitting around singing Kumbaya.
Not everyone wants to deal with these conversations, and it's understandable.
I really want people to think about how white people, how you benefit from this system, and what is your responsibility to undoing, dismantling this system.
So, especially in this political climate, when one of the reasons why I want to be part of these conversations is because I literally want people that are bigoted and racist to put a face to it. I want them to actually look me in the eye, and if they still think that we're all terrible people, that's okay, but at least I want to put a face to what they're talking about.
A lot of these meetings, it's only white folks.
Yeah.
Can I just say one thing? Our studies have been invalidated. And so Black folk or people of color don't want white folks to validate their studies anymore. And so they don't participate in things like this.
It's always interesting that so many European Americans show up and so few African American or people from other, groups are absent.
Why do you think that is?
I think it's a lot of different things. There's no basis for the connection.
So who must take responsibility for initiating the kinds of dialogue? If it comes from white folks, without it sounding like kind of condescending. You do it. Yeah. I don't have any idea. What? You're doing it.
This is not, to me, about recognizing race. This is more about dismantling the underpinnings of racism. That's done through humanizing folks who might seem disparate.
To just be in a space in the United States, experiencing conversations with 3 very different cultures all in the same room was just so rewarding to get to make friends. Really, it was about making friends across boundaries that I normally don't have the opportunity to cross.
We have different races, we have different classes and religions and geographies and identities, and people have come to know the humanity of the other in very meaningful ways, and that's what we strive for.